points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
If you're looking for a Manitoba-based team to be proud of tonight, folks, check out the curling. A couple good Manitoba-based teams who are doing pretty well, doing you pretty proud on the Scotties right now, because the hometown team playing in the downtown arena did not do you proud tonight. Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Alongside Dave Manouk, alongside the already drinking Ezra Ginsburg, I'm your host, Drew Mandel, here to discuss the Winnipeg Jets falling absolutely flat on their face in front of the hometown crowd, losing 5-1 to the defending Stanley Cup champions. The panic button getting closer and closer to being smashed if people haven't already done so. Gentlemen, good to see you both tonight. You were both in attendance at that debacle. I apologize that both of you had to sit through that, but this Winnipeg Jets team, the road trip was bad. They've been bad for the last month to 5 weeks, and it may have hit a nadir tonight with that performance on home ice. Absolutely getting
a Ralph Nader?
Not Ralph Nader, Nadir. Ralph Nader is Nader, but I wanted to see if you were going to say that though. Just an absolutely embarrassing performance on home ice tonight by the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, and the game was over early in the first period, right? Like the Avalanche scored 3 goals on 4 shots. And I know there's a lot to talk about in this game, but I mean, I'm joking a little bit, but it was definitely over after the first period, right? There was only 1 goal scored after the first period. Well, it wasn't by the Jets. Like, it was just complete domination by the Avalanche. And we talked about it last game, right? Like, you're coming off of a really disappointing loss to the Islanders. Mm-hmm. You lose 3 of 4 on the road, and we talked about it, right? They could have easily lost all 4 games on the road. And the Avalanche are a fantastic team, and they've been playing some really good hockey, and they just keep closing the gap between themselves and the Jets and the Stars, right? So we knew this wasn't going to be an easy game for the Jets, but they just didn't show up in the first period, right? Like you mentioned, we were there. Like it was, it was just goal after goal, and we're watching the game, like, and it's so high event, but we're just thinking to ourselves, like, did the Jets forget how good the Avalanche are? Like you're leaving really good players completely wide open, right? Like Rantanen and McKinnon and Bowen Byram and Valerie Nichushkin and JT, like these guys, it was like, they're like, okay, you're going to give us all this time and space. Like the Avalanche made the Jets look really slow tonight. And I think, that was quite evident. It was mentioned on the broadcast by the guys, like the Avalanche just looked like a much superior team. And this is without Gabe Landeskog and Cale Makar and Eric Johnson, and I'm missing somebody else, but like those, especially Makar and Landeskog. Yeah. Obviously, Makar is arguably, the best player in the league, let alone best defenseman in the league, right? So just imagine, what this team is going to look like once they get their captain back and they get Makar back, right? So yeah, it was really disappointing, Drew. And, you wonder, like, what could possibly happen between now and Sunday, but you wonder, are the Jets going to make some call-ups? Because, I mean, how much longer can this continue? Like, we're not even talking about the NHL trade deadline anymore. We're just talking about, like, they need guys in the lineup that are hungry, because this team was just way too lifeless for too much of this game, in my opinion.
I mean, lifeless. Yeah. They when you give up a goal, Dave, 19 seconds into the game, if you somehow let Nathan McKinnon have a breakaway 19 seconds into the game,
which was painfully obvious. We're sitting there, and I said to Ezzy, I'm like, well, that's going to be a breakaway. And when you realize it's McKinnon, there's a good chance it's going to be a goal.
Like that goal, Drew, was like when we had season tickets for the Bombers when they were like some of their lean years, and you would go to the game and it would be the opening kickoff. The Bombers would be kicking off to the other team, and you're like joking that the other team's going to return the kickoff for the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and it seemed like it would happen during those lean years for the Bombers when they weren't very good, right? It's like the same thing. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, McKinnon has a clear-cut breakaway, 15 seconds into the game, and he scores, and then the Jets get the tying goal on the power play, and then they come right back. Rantanen, puts it where I said grandma hides the cookies on Twitter, right? So, like, it was just complete domination by the Avalanche in the first period. And the Jets really, they didn't adapt, and they just had no chance at getting back into the game.
Drew, before we get going, and look, there's gonna be a lot of negative to speak about with respect to this Jets team, and that's fine.
Are you going
to
give us a positive?
No, I'm not going to give it a positive about the Jets. I'm going to just say, before we get into the negative, because we don't sugarcoat here on Illegal Curve. Spencer's in a mood right now. He's having a good time.
Unless we're talking about Sufganyot, then we don't sugarcoat.
Yeah, but we will not be sugarcoating. But what we will do is, when there is a milestone to recognize, we will recognize it. So happy in advance birthday to the Illegal Curve intern, unofficial Illegal Curve intern, Bailey Weeb, who is celebrating a birthday. On. So happy birthday to Bailey.
Happy birthday, Bailey.
Tomorrow.
So tomorrow when we're on again, we just have to wish her another happy birthday.
Well, I'm remembering now.
We're getting ahead of the game for tomorrow.
And 2 days ago, Lisa Danko's son, Josh, big fan of Illegal Curve.
Hold on, did you say Danko Jones, former Canadian pop power band?
I did not. I said Lisa Danko and her son,
she
Josh.
Might be related to
it was
Danko
his birthday.
Jones,
so happy birthday to Josh. Happy birthday to Bailey. 2 young IC fans, and we appreciate your support. So thank you. Happy birthday to you guys. Despite what happened tonight with the Jets, we still wish you guys happy belated and happy soon-to-be birthdays.
And to celebrate your birthday, we're going to talk about the steaming pile of crap we just watched for the last 3 hours, is what you're saying.
Well, remember, because Bailey wants to celebrate a Moose win on her birthday. She's not really too concerned about what happened with the Jets tonight.
Okay, fair enough. In any event, happy birthday to Josh. Happy birthday to Bailey. We'll do it again tomorrow, and we wish Bailey a happy birthday on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Look, 19 seconds into the game. I mean, that's a team that's not prepared to play. The Colorado Avalanche haven't played since Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've had 5 days off.
Sunday or Monday, yeah.
Yeah, so they've had a significant gap in their schedule for whatever reason. The Jets, we know, have been playing a lot of hockey. That's not to say that the Jets are... I'm not using that as an excuse, not for 1 second. You can't start the game like this, especially when your head coach, who for the first 40, 50 games of the year, you've done nothing. You've talked about how much you respect him and how much you listen to him and how much you acknowledge him and blah, blah, blah. When your head coach talks about this game as the biggest game of the year to this point, and 19 seconds into the game,
especially when you're not scoring goals, Drew.
Especially when you're not scoring goals. Again, another game tonight.
By the way, as Vic Ronas, who's joining us from live from Canada Life, Jets 2 goals or less in 5 of the last 6 games. That's 30th in the league.
Look, there's no question about it that the team can't score. I'm not sure if the general manager is conscious or not. I'm really not. I mean, I'm thinking about this and I feel bad for Rick Bowness a little bit, because look at the roster he's having to deal with. Now, the players weren't prepared to play. That's on them. That's also on him for whatever reason for them not being prepared to play. But if you're Rick Bowness, you're sitting here saying, what other options do I have? And that's on the general manager. And this is the general manager who, for the last decade plus, has been responsible for crafting this team. I mean, I just don't understand what he is doing. I was thinking about it when Matt Nieto scored for the Avalanche. He scored the 5th goal of the game. It was long over by that point.
He was just claimed off of waivers.
No, he was traded. They traded for him.
Or sorry, they traded for him. And Nieto's been, we should mention Nieto has been on the Avalanche before.
Right. He was on the Avalanche for a number of years. He went to San Jose and he signed a 2-year, he was an UFA and he signed in San Jose. And a month ago, I checked, I think it was January 28th, if I'm not mistaken, the Avalanche went and traded for him. They didn't give up a lot for him because he's Matt Nieto, but he can
like
play.
A 4th round pick or something.
Yeah, it was a couple prospects, something like that. Nothing, no big deal, but he's a guy who can play in your lineup. And it was a proactive move made by Joe Sakic.
Okay.
Made by the Avalanche Brain Trust. The last time the Jets make, or the next time the Jets make a proactive move when it comes to a trade is going to be the first time. Everyone's got a no trade clause. Matt Nieto didn't have a no trade clause. If Matt Nieto was available for next to nothing, and he's a guy who is not going to change the fortunes of your team necessarily. He's not going to be the guy who determines if you win or lose
No, he's a
at
depth
the end
player.
of the season. He's a depth player,
Yeah.
but he's an NHL quality.
He's a good depth player.
He's an NHL caliber depth player. Why don't you go out and get him?
Well, Drew,
Why
one
don't
thing
the
is
Jets go out
obvious.
and get
One
him?
thing is, if it wasn't obvious before, I think there's some, I guess there's a little bit of a connection here between Cole Perfetti, it being announced that he's going to be out for at least 8 weeks, and then this game, because I think all of these things combined are just adding up to Chevy having to make multiple moves. We're not just talking about one move, and obviously you're not suggesting that Chevy needs to acquire a Matt Nieto type of player, and that's going to catapult the Jets into playing some better hockey. I mean, you're saying that the Jets needed to make a move a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago. Like they've had some success with the waiver wire. Axel Jonsson-Fjällby, Carson Kuhlman, those guys have been plug and play types of guys, but they've also lost Mikey Esimont and Jonathan Kovacevic. But the point is, they need help right now. Chevy needs to make a move, and he needs to make a move quick. He can't wait another week.
No, he needed to make the move 2 weeks ago. Obviously, he didn't. He could have made the move a month ago. He didn't. I mean, and I went back and I was reading his quotes from when he met the assembled media.
On the road, by the way.
What's that?
On the road.
On the road, of course, because the Jets only do that, so there's only a small contingent.
I think there were 3 reporters, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Jeff Hamilton,
Weber, and
Scotty Billick.
Yeah, and that's back when Scott was traveling, and Ken only travels periodically. But again, it was on the road because, of course, the organization can't do that at home. They have to control the message.
That's not entirely true. They do both, but they usually do both. But anyways, they did this one on the road.
I think you have to seize the moment. You don't know where the future is going to go on a lot of different fronts. The cap, contracts, injuries. But one thing about this game is when you have an opportunity, you should try and take it. He said that on January the 11th, folks. Kevin Cheveldayoff did.
And Drew, I am on record as saying and I want everyone to hear me clearly. Kevin Cheveldayoff, in my mind, needs to make a number of big trades because he's got a chance to win a championship in the city. A Calder Cup championship for those Manitoba Moose. So Kevin Cheveldayoff, make those trades, but make them at the AHL level, not necessarily at the NHL level, which, to be honest with you, if he is, again, not to say that he wants to necessarily go this route, he should make sure that Morgan Barron, Cole Perfetti, and Dylan Sandberg have paper transactions on March 1st on that Moose roster so they'll be eligible for the AHL playoffs. My personal opinion, the Jets could go on a run. I know I am not saying that they're going to do it, but I'm telling you right now, the benefit to those 3 players to go on a long run with the Moose, again, they'll start with the Jets, but if the Jets get bounced in the first round and the Moose are still going, you need those guys getting that playoff experience. So.
Separate issue entirely.
Of course it is, but it's a Moose issue. So I know
it's a Moose issue, and I know it's your passion, but let's talk about this Jets team, because this is where the focus is, and this is where the catastrophe is unfolding in front of our very eyes. And the general manager, I mean, I'm not putting the words in his mouth. Those are his own words. He said it 6 weeks ago, and he followed up those words by doing nothing. So the team, I think, is rightfully allowed to ask, okay, you said this, we can read it. I think the head coach is rightfully allowed to ask, okay, you said it, we can read it. Where is it?
Drew, the reality is here, let's just step back for a second from the trade deadline, right? Which is obviously a week away. And let's step back from Chevy for a second. The last 25 or so games, the Jets have been a 500 team, right? We're talking about more than a quarter of the season. The Jets have been a 500 team because we've talked about this. After, I think we used 32 games because then they started to go on a little bit of a slide. I can't tell you, which game was game number 32, but they were 21-10-1. I remember that, right? Mm-hmm. So they were comfortably in, I believe they were in second, but like 1 or 2 points behind Dallas, which, funny enough, they're still only a couple points behind Dallas because Dallas has only won 2 or 3 of their last 10, right? But the point is, like, the Jets there have been issues here since going back. We kind of talked about it since kind of, before or after the Christmas break, right? When there were a couple of stinkers. Like, we're not talking about 5 games or 10 games here. Like, the Jets are in trouble here. Like, I don't think they're going to necessarily miss the playoffs, but the way they've been playing, they could easily be a wild card team.
And the game 32, by the way, was against the Senators.
There you go. But like, a month ago, we would have, if you would have said, the Jets are in danger of, slipping into a wild card spot, we would have said, you're crazy. But what's happened is the Wild are playing better. The Avalanche are playing better. The Oilers are playing better. Like, thankfully, the Flames aren't. And obviously, Nashville, St. Louis, those teams are not a threat to make the playoffs. But we were talking about the Jets being a lock for first or second in the Central. Now we're talking about them, possibly being a wild card team with how Colorado has played. So this is like, they're in trouble here. Like, you've gone from almost being a lock to have a home playoff series to now there's a good chance that you're just going to barely get in at 7th or 8th, right? So that's even more reason now why you have to make a move. Not only can you not score goals, but you're just losing a lot of hockey games, right? Like, they've lost 4 of their last 5 games.
29th in the NHL over the last month. I mean, that's where they are. They're 29th in the NHL over the last month. And I know that you would say, well, what about all those months before, whatever, or people might say that, and that's fine, and that's fair. But this has not been a good hockey team for a while. And the person, Rick Bowness, I'm willing to, look, he's made some errors. He's not getting off scot-free. His usage of Nikolai Ehlers is bordering on
Insanity?
Peculiar to personal. Because it seems as though the way he's using him, that he really does not like Nikolai Ehlers' game.
I don't understand it because he's arguably the most skilled player the Jets have. I just don't understand it.
Right. So that's a big question that Rick Bowness should have to answer to, because his usage of Nikolai Ehlers is worth further discussion. And we'll probably discuss
maybe
it
with Garrett Hole tomorrow
on tomorrow's Illegal Curve Hockey Show. That's right. We'll discuss it tomorrow there. But the general manager, who has not been seen since that road trip in January, which is now 6 weeks ago, when he said, we're going to be in it, we're going to make some moves, we have an opportunity, has to also be front and center for accountability with this team. When the injuries pile up, when it becomes apparent to everybody that the bottom of your lineup is not NHL caliber, for the most part. These guys haven't scored goals. That's how you determine NHL caliber. Whether or not you like it or not, whether or not they contribute in other ways, whether or not Saku Manalainen's a good penalty killer, if you can't put the puck in the net, you're not effective.
So you mean Lowry going 31 games, Manalainen 19, Gagne, I think 8 or 9.
Barron forever. I
mean, it's crazy. You're not wrong, Drew. But they're not getting scoring from anybody. It's not just the bottom 6 right now. The top 6 isn't scoring either. You have one game where you scored 4 goals.
Right.
How many other games have they scored 2 or less?
They haven't scored 5-on-5. They didn't score 5-on-5 tonight. They didn't score 5-on-5 against Columbus. They didn't score 5-on-5 against the Islanders. So
that's right.
In 3 of their last 5 games, they haven't scored a 5-on-5 goal. Who is solving that? Who is rectifying that? Who is making a move that is going to solve that problem? Because if you cannot,
it should be Chevy, Drew. I mean, look,
it should be the general manager who's been the GM for 11 years.
Yeah, I agree with you that a move should have been made a long time ago. Whether you want to say a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, but right now, I mean, it's just so clear to any Jets fan that multiple moves need to be made for this team to be not just a Stanley Cup contender, but competitive in the playoffs. Like, if the Jets play the Wild in the first round right now, the Wild, I think, beat the Jets. And I think the Jets have more skill than the Wild do. I mean, I think, Kirill Kaprizov is obviously, one of the most talented forwards in the entire league. But, I mean, look at the Wild's defense. It's not, I mean, they're looking at moving Matt Dumba possibly. We don't know if that's going to happen. But, like, I would take the Jets goaltending and defense over the Wild. But the way the Wild are playing right now compared to the Jets, like the Jets just, I mean, like they can't score, they can't defend. The power play looks good sometimes, but for the most part, it's been struggling. The penalty kill is really the only thing that's been elite from game 1 to game, whatever we're at now, 57 or 58.
59.
So there's 59. So there's a lot of things that need to be addressed right now. And I realize that, like, some of the local media is talking about a closed door meeting. The season's almost over here, guys. Like, we're almost at game 60, or we're at game 60, I guess, Dave, in fact, if I can, do simple arithmetic. But yeah, the Jets need to make a move, Drew. You need to bring in, an impact player, somebody who is going to have an impact immediately upon being acquired.
Or sell. And sell legitimately. Now, I don't think they're going to sell because that would be...
No, you can't sell at this point.
I don't think they're going to. But just treading water, you might sneak into the playoffs, but you'll be done in 5 games and you'll go home. And that'll be the end of it. And what have you accomplished aside from getting a worse draft pick over the course of the year?
Well, we get to add a Moose post-game show for the playoffs.
You get to add a Moose post-game show for the playoffs.
That's true. Who would I do it with?
The point is, the time is nigh.
Meacher, Dave. Give Meacher a call.
I would actually. That's good. Yeah, Manuk and Meacher.
Yeah, the Manuk Meacher Moose show. It just rolls off the tongue.
I'm going to text him right now.
There you go.
His response. Who is this and how'd you get my number?
That's usually the response I send you when you send me a text. What should be any different about it? In any event, it's clear this Winnipeg Jets team is right now in trouble. And it's time for somebody, and me personally, I'm targeting the general manager, to do something about it. Let's get into it tonight. The Betway game recap brought to you by our friends at Betway, one of the most trusted voices in sports betting, both in Canada and all around the world. Betway is the sports betting app that puts you, the customer, at the forefront. With a large selection of betting options in sports, as well as strong promotions and fair odds, what are you waiting for? Head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. We talked about it, boys. Colorado opened the scoring 19 seconds into the game. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Sort of hard to believe that this is how the Jets started tonight's game, the most important game of the regular season to this point. Not my words, the words of the coach. Nathan MacKinnon, his 20th assist to Nichushkin, and Arturi Lehkonen. 1-0 Colorado, 19 seconds in. Ezzy, I mean, what are you seeing on this goal besides an utter catastrophe?
Well, Pionk pinches in, and Arturi Lehkonen makes a really nice play, passes it up the boards, and it goes to, I believe it was Rantanen that gets
it was
DeMello pinch.
It was DeMello.
Pardon me, it was DeMello that pinched.
It was Pionk on
a subsequent
on the third goal.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry, it was DeMello who pinches, and it was I got Nichushkin right. It was Lehkonen that passes it up to Nichushkin, and then Nichushkin sees Nathan MacKinnon obviously darting up the middle, and I know it was Morrissey because it was Morrissey and DeMello, and then they went to Morrissey Pionk. I forget if it was late in the first period or the second period, and then Nathan MacKinnon just gets behind. I think it was Dubois that was out there. It was the Dubois line, and he just gets behind him. Right? Like, it's just Nathan MacKinnon is way behind the Jets defense to the point that Morrissey knew that he had absolutely no chance. So he just gave up on the play. So it's just bad defensive coverage. That's all there is to it. Like, MacKinnon you can't let MacKinnon get behind you. And it's easy for me to sit here and say that. But MacKinnon, that was one of the longest breakaways I've seen in a long time. I mean, there was just nobody around him as soon as he crossed the blue line. Right. So nice play by Arturi Lehkonen once DeMello pinched in. But again, I mean, there's 2 Jets there, and they were just gone. MacKinnon just blasted by them. So it was just terrible defensive coverage by the Jets. They were just really asleep.
You have to be aware of who you're playing against. And you're playing against, I mean, where would Nathan MacKinnon be in terms of the best, offensive forwards in the game? Second, third in the league?
He's at the very least top 5, but I would probably say that Nathan MacKinnon's the second best offensive player in the league after McDavid.
After McDavid, yeah. No one's gonna quibble too hard with that point.
Right.
And you're so out to lunch with it, and you're so asleep to start the game that this is how you start, and you don't realize that, and you give Nathan MacKinnon of all players the opportunity to walk in on your goaltender. 1-0 Colorado. The Jets tie it up. Hard to believe they did, but they did. At the 3:12 mark, the power play goal, second straight game with a power play goal for the Winnipeg Jets. Did they have one against the Rangers as well? Can't remember. That was a couple games ago. I think they did. So the power play
they were 1 for 1, and then I think the Rangers were 0 for 4.
Yeah, that sounds right. So the Jets have been getting some power play goals in the last couple games. Only one, because they get one a game. That's all they can get. Mason Appleton, second of the season for him, his first career power play goal. Assist to Nate Schmidt and Blake Wheeler. It's a second unit power play goal. Nice tip. You saw Appleton, if you watch the replay, you see him, banging his stick on the ice, asking for the tip shot. Nate Schmidt sets him up with it nicely, and he deflects it past Alexander Georgiev to tie it up at 1 at the 3:12 mark. But it was all downhill from there, Dave.
Yeah, but I mean, look, the fan base was not happy 19 seconds in, and you could feel it, and you could feel it in the building that folks were like, "What the hell are we watching?" And then a few minutes later, it's a 1-1 game, and so you're having a little bit of like, again, and I'm not making this excuse for the team, but everybody knows, after a long road trip, you come home, and that first game's every coach I've ever talked to always says that the first game after a long road trip is always a tough game. Yada yada yada. So the Jets get rid of that first goal because suddenly they get the crowd into it. Folks are excited. And look, got to credit the second power play unit, right? Nate Schmidt with a good shot and credit Mason Appleton going to the front of the net because when the first power play unit was out, Ezzy, what do we talk about? Nobody in front. The passing when they were in front wasn't good. It was always askew. And so sure, it's a second power play unit that, doesn't get the lion's share of time, but they make do with what they are given and they tie the game and they give the building a little bit of life. And so you're thinking to yourself, okay, Colorado's rolling right now, right? They're 6-2-2 in their last 10 games. They're feeling good about themselves overall, knowing that, as he said to start this show, they're doing this without Landeskog and without Kale. Dude, where's my car? So, I mean, the fact is that you're firing like that, and I'm pretty sure, isn't there? The goalie's out too, isn't he?
Francouz.
Yeah,
Francouz. Yeah, he's out as well. So I mean, like they're pretty impressively rolling right now. So if you're the Jets, you're thinking to yourself, okay, we're not happy with our play. We went 1 for 3, and as I said, they've been bad for or average, for the last 25 games. So here's an opportunity. It's 1-1, kind of washes everything clean. So you're thinking to yourself, again, teams do this. Maybe they're going to be able to build. Not so much.
No. If they built something, it collapsed in a heap of rubble very quickly. It took the Avalanche all of a minute 20 to get the game-winning goal.
Well, they actually built something. It was Fire Festival.
The Avs retake the lead. It proves to be the game-winning goal at the 4:32 mark. Mikko Rantanen assist to Evan Rodriguez. This is the one that Neil Pionk pinches in an ill-advised decision, and Rantanen just with a beautiful shot. I mean, you can't blame Connor Hellebuyck on this. Brendan Dillon takes away the pass, and then just the great shot beats the great goalie in this instance. Bar down, like you said, where Mama keeps the chocolate chips or
Grandma.
whatever the hell you said. Whatever.
Mama hides the cookies, but Grandma makes sure that they're really out of reach.
Okay, well, fair enough.
That was a Mike Langism, if you remember. He was the one that when Mario Lemieux scored it, he'd say, "That's where Grandma hides the cookies."
Well, I mean, Mikko Rantanen went right to where Grandma hid the cookies and made it 2-1 with a beautiful, beautiful shot. But again, just a bewilderingly, that's not a word, but just a perplexingly, bewilderingly, it's a hard one for me to say.
Sounds like if it isn't, it should be.
I mean, bewildering is the word, but whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, folks. Just a bad decision. Yeah. Just a bad decision. Just a decision that cannot be made in this instance. And if you're gonna pinch, which Neil Pionk does, where's the puck support? Exactly. Where's the forward to support on this play? I don't like the pinch, but I also don't like the support from the forward group on this one. And that's been that's what we saw from the Jets a lot last year.
Absolutely. And if I'm correct, it was the fourth line that was out there for that goal, right? The Jets' fourth line. And so it just nobody comes back to, as you said, Drew, cover.
Shifley, Connor, Appleton are out there for that goal.
Okay, I'm wrong. So wrong for a second time, but nobody covers. And there's just too much time and space. You mentioned Brendan Dillon. There's nothing wrong with what Brendan Dillon did there, and there's nothing wrong with the way Connor Hellebuyck, this is Rantanen's 37th goal of the year, so he's well on his way, similar to Shifley, to scoring 50 goals. So yeah, to me, the pinch isn't really, it's not the most egregious pinch I've ever seen. Pionk's trying to make a play, but you got to have back pressure there. Mm-hmm. That to me is the Jets, again, not being quick enough to react to what's happening with, like you said, Drew, it's like Rantanen and McKinnon and Nichushkin and these guys, it's not like these guys are just like, this is their first year in the NHL here. These guys have been getting it done for a long time.
Yeah.
These guys have been top players for a long time. More so Rantanen and McKinnon. Nichushkin, it's really the last couple of years that this game has rebounded to where it was when he first came in the league with Dallas, right? But yeah, it's just inexcusable that there was that was such a long and spacious 2-on-1 there.
Yeah.
And it just completely deflates your momentum when you tie the game up shortly after McKinnon puts the Avalanche up 1-0, and then Rantanen comes back down and roofs one, and it's 2-1, and you got the feeling that more goals were coming because the Avalanche were basically saying, you want to go back and forth and give us this much time and space, we're going to bury some goals past you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, again, the first 2 goals were just poor defensive coverage. I don't know how many different ways I can say that, boys. It's just, not acceptable, especially when, you've just lost 3 games on the road.
Yeah, I mean, you assume the Jets had a game plan for tonight or had an approach that they wanted to take for the game. And Dave, it just seems like they threw that out. The players, probably heard it and just seemed to have abandoned it because the way they started and the way that they played, I mean, for the game, I mean, nothing else matters in this game after the first period. So with well, they played better in the second, and they had some chances, and they had some good shifts where they tilted the ice.
The truth is, to be honest with you, if it's 4-1, which is essentially game over, but if they could have done something with that end of the first period power play,
sure,
at least it brings some semblance of the fan base probably would have been still pissed off with the overall effort of that first, but at least then you're like, okay, it's a 4-2 game. You get a goal in the second, and somehow it's not out of reach. But I mean, to go into that first intermission down 4-1, and I know I'm skipping ahead now.
Yeah,
people want to hear this interesting analysis of the goals 3 and 4 for Colorado. So I don't want to glaze over it, but I'm just saying that had the Jets been able to narrow that lead a little bit, it's a little bit of a different story, I think. And
because you have something to build off of,
right? Exactly. And the only thing I was going to just quickly jump in on as an aside, because I know that our boy Bruce is talking about the Bronx cheers and whether they were directed at Connor Hellebuyck.
I didn't like it.
Well, I know, again, my own, and I know that on the broadcast, apparently they said it was directed at Connor Hellebuyck. My own personal opinion is that they were directed at the team. Now, sure, of course, Connor Hellebuyck looks like the recipient because he's making the save, and they're relatively easy saves at that point. And again, I'm a little bit ahead of where we are in the game recap, but again, my own personal opinion, which is only mine. I can't speak to what the mindset was of the 14,100 fans that were in the building. But my guess would be, if you're asking me what my opinion would be that the Bronx cheer was directed at that entire team and being down.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter to me, Dave. I told you this when we were up in the press box. To me, it's not who the fans are directing it towards. It's they're booing when Hellebuyck makes a save. So regardless of what your intentions are, every time Hellebuyck touches the puck, you're booing Hellebuyck.
Well, it's hard to have a Bronx cheer, just for a bad shift. I mean, the Bronx cheer comes out when the goalie makes a save, but there's no question in my mind that it was directed at the skaters, not at the goalie, because none of these goals were Connor Hellebuck's fault.
But what I'm saying though, Drew, is that's not that's to me not what you're missing. What it's about. It's still you're still booing when the goaltender touches the puck or makes a save.
No, I understand that.
So it's stupid. It's just to me, it's just like unnecessary.
I think it's just the way that the game goes. That when you're going to express a Bronx cheer, it's going to happen when the goalie makes a save after you've given up 4 goals in the first period. I don't think anybody's blaming this on Connor Hellebuyck.
No, I think again, the last thing I'll say about it, because I think it's funny, is that this is similar. This is an interpretation, right? You can say, were they doing it? First of all, who gives a shit? To be honest with you, perfectly clear. But number one, it's kind of like those guys who do the blue during the anthem, and so many people hear booing. So you hear booing, a lot of other people hear blue. It's open to interpretation.
How about just keep your mouth shut while the anthem's going on? Like, how about that?
That would be fine too.
Just listen to the anthem and then it's over. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with that.
Avs make it 3-1 before it's even 10 minutes old in the first period. JT Comp for his 12th of the year assisted Mikko Rantanen and Nathan McKinnon. Put pucks on net, good things happen. This is one that, this is just a lot of traffic in front and a good deflection / a good bounce. and it just sort of squeaks, redirects past Connor Hellebuyck. Doesn't even go through him; it just redirects past him. And again, put pucks on net, get people to the dirty areas, do things like that, and you're oftentimes going to get rewarded. And Colorado gets their just desserts here by going hard to the net like Comfer did, Ezzy.
Yeah, and we talked about how quickly these goals were coming, and that's what's so unfortunate about this goal is that it put the game out of reach very quickly, and then it obviously led to the fourth goal. But yeah, I think this goes off of Comfer's leg, if I remember correctly, right?
Shoulder, it's sort of some random body part.
Yeah, and it barely goes in, right? So that to me was like that's a lucky goal. I don't care what anybody says. It's a lucky goal. Is it kind of a nice, point shot, screen, all of that? Yeah, but I mean, Hellebuyck clearly didn't have a lot of chance on it, and it was just you can't dive too deep into a goal like this. Just like you can't dive too deep into Appleton's goal because that's just a nice hard shot from Schmidt and a nice tip by Mason Appleton. As you said earlier, Drew, Appleton was banging his stick on the ice, wanting that tip. So yeah, this goal was not a beauty goal, but it was just, again, the Avalanche throwing everything on net because I believe that was only the fourth shot by the Avalanche at that point.
It was.
It's just crazy. I don't Hellebuyck's got a 930 save percentage. He had a 930 save percentage or something like that going into this game. So for him to allow 3 goals on 4 shots, I looked over at Dave and I'm like, they might pull him if they score a 4th goal, and they obviously didn't. They pulled him after the second period. Yeah. But again, it wasn't because of his poor play. It was just because to wake the Jets up, essentially.
Yeah, and you talk about the 4th goal in the first period. That comes at the 10:58 mark. And this one, I mean, there's a lot of egregious goals. It's hard to pinpoint which one is the most egregious. But, Bowen Byram just walks in. I mean, he just has so much time and space.
Watch the replay. There's 4 Jets.
Yeah.
All slowly converging around Byram. The only problem is no one's in front of Byram, in front of the net, to pick off the pass or lift his stick. It was just crazy. It's not like this was an odd man situation.
No.
Bowen Byram is just left alone in front of the net. It's just inexcusable again.
Well, Brendan Dillon, I don't know what his mindset is on this play. If you go back and you watch it, he goes for a hit and he misses the hit, but he sort of puts himself as a result out of position. And then Byram just walks in, and the Jets are treating him like he's a basketball player who can't make an 18-foot jump shot, except for the fact that he's not a basketball player and he can pick a corner because he's a damn talented hockey player. It was just bizarre. It's like the Jets backed off of him, waiting for the rebound to clear it away as if he was going to miss, or it was just going to hit Connor Hellebuyck, and they get rid of the rebound that way. He obviously doesn't miss. Andrew Cogliano, Alex Newhook, they get the assists on the goal, and it's 4-1 for the Avs at the 10:58 mark of the first period. Just ugly all around. I saw Brendan Dillon complaining that he does get cross-checked on the play, but he doesn't get the call. He doesn't deserve the call as far as I'm concerned. It's just what are the Jets doing? Who's responsible for him? And where is that person who's responsible to not let Bowen Byram just walk right in like that?
By the way, I apologize. I was thinking of the Matt Nieto goal, the 5th goal where he's alone in front of the net and gets a feed. So I apologize. That was not the goal I was thinking of. Maybe it's because I took a fireball shot, but that's the goal that I was thinking of. No, I mean, you're right. Byram walks in from the blue line, and the Jets are backing up. The Avalanche took advantage of poor Jets defending in a variety of ways, right? They took advantage of the fact that the Jets seemed disorganized in their own zone. They took advantage of the fact that the Jets couldn't handle their speed, especially on the McKinnon goal. And they were opportunistic tonight. But yeah, on this particular goal, Byram says, "Okay, you're going to give me some time and space. I'll move in and I'll roof a shot." So I don't know again how many different ways that you can explain that the Jets' defensive coverage was just not good enough, but it really wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, not even just not good enough, just embarrassing. This is a top to bottom. this is an embarrassing defeat for the organization, Dave. I mean, the whole organization should feel as though they had a piece of this defeat. The coaching staff for not having for just not having anybody ready to play. The players themselves, of course, for having that lousy performance, and the general manager for giving this roster and saying this is the best we can currently provide to you as we sit here. 5 days, 6, or I guess 1 week now away from the trade deadline. Something's got to give for this team. 4-1 for Colorado after 20 minutes. The rest of the game, there was only that one goal in the second period at the 10:59 mark. Matt Nieto, his 11th assist to Comfer, and Devin Taves. Matt Nieto is just left.
This was the goal that I was talking about,
Yeah.
where Nieto is he drifts towards the middle of the net and just, he's unaccosted.
He's just, I think,
right. So Comfer's behind the net and he feeds him the puck, and just nobody,
he
I
had some
forget.
time to do some sewing. I think he maybe made himself a sandwich. He really, had some quality time. Maybe he took a nap there, because certainly weren't any of the Jets players weren't in the business of accosting him or preventing him from doing what he wanted. And that was the 5-1 goal, and that's all she wrote. I mean, it was just...
I agree with you, Drew. I mean, especially after that 5-1 goal, then it's getting to cringeworthy status, and you're starting to think like, I honestly wouldn't have been surprised if the Avalanche scored, another couple of goals.
Well, remember, they hit the post and missed an easy tap in, right?
You're right.
So there were a lot of instances where Colorado could have had 5, 6, 7 goal performance, overall in this game. It ultimately comes down to one of those games that you're just sitting there going, what did we just watch?
Yeah.
Like this is, and again, like I said, this, all I can say is this: the Jets, if they want people to stop talking about this, they better pump the Islanders on Sunday.
Well,
because
give me any reason why you believe that's going to happen.
I never said I believe it's going to happen.
Right, I know.
I said that the best thing for the Jets is that they better pump the Islanders. I'm more concerned about the fact that I can't see the comments suddenly in the chat. That's my bigger concern, Drew. Right now, I don't know what's going on. Suddenly, I've lost the comments. That's a bigger concern for me. What about for you?
I see the comments.
They're back. Whoo! I was nervous. I was like, I'm laughing. Frosty's telling jokes.
Losing the chat, Dave, is like, when you lose your wallet or your key.
Seriously. I was like, what is going on right now? I can't see Spency. Spency's going crazy from Festival. Lots is happening. So, but no, the one thing I want to say again, and I said this to Ezzy when we were, watching that first period, I said, again, this team more and more is reminding me of that 18-19 team, which, started off so well and then slid. And again, the other thing is, and I highlighted the comment in the chat, what is going on with the Jets team, which now is healthy? Remember, Jets were healthy. Jets were, what were the comments coming from some of our brethren, right? Hey, this team's going to scoring tons of goals now, and they're still going to do all this stuff. Where is the heart? Where is the heart from this team? That's what it's lacking. That give a shit. That's really again, I can hear, they give a shit. They give a shit. Oh yeah, they didn't look like they gave a shit. Quite honestly, not from what I saw tonight. They really didn't. They look. There was a lot of
actions speak louder than words, and I didn't think that they finished very strong in the third period.
No,
I thought that was. The Avalanche, certainly didn't need to do anything. They could just coast to a 5-1 win, which is what they did. And the third period, I can't remember any great Jets scoring chances. Like, this team,
let me ask you this.
I don't know exactly what they need. We could
obviously
say we could obviously say they need Timo Meier and Vladislav Gavrikov, or they need Jake Chikrin and Patrick Kane. But they also need to look in the mirror and say we need to get this back on track, or we're in danger of slipping out of this playoff race entirely.
They need a lot, and it's getting worse, and it's not getting better, and time is running short. Jets lose tonight 5-1 to the Colorado Avalanche on home ice. When we come back on the Illegal Curve post-game show, some post-game reaction from the Winnipeg Jets dressing room. Sounds
like it was quite a little post-game presser with Rick Bowness.
Well, he certainly...
We'll have to ask Bick Ronas, who's in the chat.
Maybe we'll touch base with Bick Ronas and hear what Rick Bowness had to say. We got some contest giveaways, and what would you do if your drive-through order was taking too long? Somebody in Steinbach did something that I applaud first and foremost. We'll tell you about that up next. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show. We're live on YouTube and all of our social media platforms.
Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Jon Stewart, Dennis Miller, Brad Garrett, the biggest acts and all the up-and-comers. They've all made their mark at Rumors Comedy Club, North America's longest-running independent comedy club. Rumors has kept Winnipeg laughing for over 25 years. When was the last time you laughed out loud? Make it a great night out with friends or book your office or birthday party, even a fundraising event at Rumors. Get all the details and dates on upcoming shows at rumorscomedyclub.com.
He winds up. Oh, looks like Ezzy took that one right in the choppers.
A blistering fast puck hurts like HE double hockey sticks. That's why I let the pros at Linden Market Dental Center turn my yow into
wow.
Get your brilliant smile back with state-of-the-art restorative and cosmetic dentistry from real pros.
And remember, always wear a mouth guard.
Now that's solid on ice advice. Learn more at lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy, relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
Dave, my man, why are you in the car already? It's hours until game time.
Drew, it's because I'm stressed out right now, driving around downtown Winnipeg, looking for a parking spot, and I'm not finding one. I've lost Ginsburg. I don't even know where that guy is right now.
Dave, haven't I taught you anything? Do what I do. Pre-book your entire month's worth of game day parking with the Grid Park app. It's super easy to use and saves me both time and stress.
Well, Drew, I'm not independently wealthy like you are. So I'm sorry that I don't have millions of dollars to pre-book my parking month in advance. What's that going to cost you? $25?
How about $5?
Come on, $5? No way.
$5. I'm not telling you a lie. And our listeners can get a free park with the new special promo code Illegal Curve. Guess what? There's more.
There's more, Drew. You're lying to me. What more could there be?
Grid Park now has underground parking, so my car can stay warm during the game.
So wait a second. All the driving around I do, looking for parking, minus 40. You're telling me I could be toasty warm in a car after the hockey game?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. Underground parking. Just download the Grid Park app. That's GRYD Park and use the code Illegal Curve. All one word. You'll park for free your first time.
Hi, it's Drew from Illegal Curve here. Selling your home can be stressful, but it wasn't for me. Thanks to my friends at Zappia Group Realty, they made the process so easy. My home sold within 48 hours and with multiple offers. Zappia Group Realty took care of everything with their exquisite customer service and attention to detail. If you want to sell your home for more in less time, get started by talking to Frank and Mauro Zappia of Zappia Group Realty. Online at zappiagroup.com.
For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the Illegal Curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com. Shortly past the bottom of the hour, welcome back to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg with you on this Friday night. We remind you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., the Illegal Curve hockey show back here on our YouTube channel. We talk about tonight's game, a little bit, maybe sober second thought about it. As the game
I don't think about that, Drew.
I know. As the game will have settled a little bit, we talk about the impact of the Cole Perfetti injury. We talk about the trade deadline. We talk about Sunday's game against the Islanders and next week's games. So
Bailey's birthday.
So join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're going to be interviewing as well Garrett Hole, who covers the Winnipeg Jets with an analytic bent on the team, and Mike McKenna of Daily Faceoff to talk about the NHL trade deadline. So a very busy Saturday morning in store for you, 9 a.m. back here on our YouTube channel.
You think Chevy's making a trade right now, boys?
Well, maybe he'll reacquire Mason Appleton yet again. I'm not sure if he can do that. He did that on a post-game show last year. None of us were really sure why they were buying any players at that point in time, given how lousy the team was. But this year, where the team is in a playoff spot, so far he seems satisfied to stand pat. So,
who else did the Jets bring back, Drew? They brought somebody else back, or there was another trade that they made
last year. No,
yeah, around the trade deadline.
Are you thinking about Matt Hendricks? In
no,
18?
no, that's like 3 years ago.
That was during the year where the
didn't they acquire somebody else before the trade deadline last year?
I remember Appleton. Dave, am I missing somebody?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think so. They didn't trade anybody.
There was somebody, Drew Stafford. No, I'm just kidding. I thought there was somebody else, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Chevy makes a move imminently. To be honest with you,
I mean, you have to.
This is a wake up call. This is a wake up call that the Avalanche are still the best team in the Western Conference. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care who Vegas acquires, unless Mark Stone is in the lineup. I don't think they're a Stanley Cup contender because you guys know how much I like Mark Stone and how good of a two-way right winger he is. To me, it's the Avalanche, and then it's completely wide open after that.
Ezzy, don't knock that former Jets goalie tandem of Laurent Brossoit and Michael Hutchinson in Las Vegas right now. Although apparently
Aiden Hill injured now.
Yeah, so they had Brossoit and Hutchinson is the duo in Vegas.
What is this, 2018?
Wow, it seems like it with the Jets.
A couple comments coming out of the Jets dressing room tonight. Brendan Dillon says, quote, "We got humbled tonight. There's no excuses for how that went tonight." Rick Bowness says, quote, "We were asleep to start the game." I would say they were asleep for more than just the start of the game, but that's
I was going to say the entire first period was a nap.
Yeah, Mason Appleton, quote, "It's unacceptable." Mason Appleton, more from him. "We can't hang the best goalie in the league out to dry." Oh, if you can't, you did. So, you did. So it's not that you can't. It's that
Zach Sanford, Ezzy.
There you go. See, I knew, Drew, there was another player there.
It was disgruntled weed, not me. And it's funny. I should know that because Zach Sanford right now is playing for Milwaukee, and he was in last night in the game against the Moose.
Yeah, shocking that he didn't lead the Jets back to the promised land last year. But there you go, Zach Sanford. That's right.
Wasn't Zach, like towards the end of the season?
Ottawa?
Wasn't Zach Sanford on the Jets' top line?
Yes,
remember those last few games he was on the top line and he was starting 4-on-4 overtime.
It was an ugly year last year. It was a very, very ugly year. More from Rick Bowness, quote, "I wasn't worried about the goaltending. Did you see the shots they had? They had all day to shoot. What do you want a goalie to do there? Nothing." So that's, I think, pretty a summation from the Jets head coach, about the team tonight is just and Connor Hellebuyck's play. But it wasn't on him, but it was on the rest of the team.
This is why this is all lip service. I'm sorry, Drew, if I cut you off and you were gonna read another quote there, but there was a lot of similarities between this game and the Rangers game.
Sure. The only difference is that the goal is that Connor Hellebuyck stood on his head at that game. In this game, you can't blame him. The shots were better in this game than they were in the Rangers game. If you want, by 5% better, and as a result, they got past them as opposed to the Rangers game where they didn't. I mean, What do you want the goalie to do? I don't really know what people expect. This Jets played like shit tonight. I mean, brought in the French. It's just how it is.
That's
We're on YouTube now, Drew. We're not on terrestrial radio. YouTube, you can say whatever you want.
And just continuing what has become a pattern.
As long as it's not inappropriate or offensive to anyone, I should mention.
That's right. I mean, I hope that my language isn't offensive to anyone, and I'll keep the offensive jokes to a minimum as well. Nikolai Ehlers' time on ice tonight, 13 minutes and 4 seconds. That's 15th out of the 18 skaters that played for the Jets tonight.
Okay, let's talk about that some.
And how about sorry, how many power plays? How many power plays do the Avs have?
How many power plays did the Avs have? The Avs had
3.
They had a 4-minute double minor.
Dubois, the cross check, and
Manalino. So they had
3 power plays.
6 minutes of penalties.
Yeah. So I mean, that's usually the excuse given, right? Why Ehlers doesn't get it,
right.
But
Ehlers should have had 5 or 6 more minutes of ice time tonight.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. We just wanted to bring it up today because I wanted to touch on it, but tomorrow it'll be a topic of conversation.
Garrett will get into that. I mean, there's just, you know what?
We're all going to get into it tomorrout. There's something is up there.
Something's off.
Something stinks in Denmark.
Well, something stinks
in Winnipeg.
Yeah, something stinks.
As it pertains to someone from Denmark.
Speaking about something stinking, how badly would you need Burger King in order to call 911 to demand it?
Burger
Ezzy,
King
I'm
is Burger King of the major fast food chains. Burger King I put at the bottom.
I would agree.
I do have a question though. Is Ezzy
McDonald's and A&W are at the top.
Is Ezra answering this question as a 2023 Ezra or 2010 Ezra?
Well, I still don't think he
Dave,
would
I'm
ever
the
call
same guy.
911.
I'm the same guy I was 13 years ago, man. I've just matured and I have kids now.
In case anybody missed it, a Burger King, the first Burger King, opened in Steinbach. When did it open? I think yesterday it opened in Steinbach, and the lineup
No longer dry Steinbach, by the way.
Yes, it hasn't been dry for a while though. But yeah,
I'm like what?
Oh, because there's snow on the ground.
Oh, okay. Thursday, so yesterday, the first Burger King opened in Steinbach, and the lineup at the drive-thru was so long that a woman called 911 to report that to complain about it. Now,
was this today, Drew, or was this like earlier this week?
This was yesterday, but it came out today. Yeah. It came out in the news today. So, Ezzy, the question for you, my friend, as somebody who has been known to be hungry on one or two occasions in your life.
Calling me fat,
and hangry.
No. I wouldn't call you fat. I said you've been hungry. So, would you ever?
I am fat. So, if you did call me fat, I'd just be like, yeah, well, I am.
I didn't say either of those two words. Let the record show.
Let's just say I'm not thin. Let's go with that, Drew.
Lots of great athletes haven't necessarily been thin, Ezzy, and that you are as well.
Butterbean and who's the pitcher? Bartolo Colon. Those are my role models.
And don't forget about Dude Love, Ezzy.
Yeah, Dude Love. Yeah.
So by the way, Dude Love from the Pro Eating Contest. I mean,
not Dude Love, the wrestler in this case,
right? Well, okay. He looked like that Dude Love as well, but
I got you. But I mean that is. I mean, I just applaud this woman's initiative. She wants her Burger King.
Yeah,
it's a very American thing. I
respect it. Yeah.
Yeah,
that is a very American 911 call. I mean, let's forget the fact that, you're wasting resources by calling into 911 and wasting those people's time. But it is pretty funny that that someone would call 911 because they really wanted Burger King. Like, of all the fast food joints, Burger King. Like, I'm sorry, like I enjoy a nice Whopper, like especially an angry Whopper, late at night. But I mean, we're not.
I'll tell you one person who doesn't enjoy that angry Whopper, Naomi.
Well, I can tell you what Ezzy's going to be doing when he leaves my house in about 10 minutes or 15 minutes. There's no question about it.
Yeah, but
it's not going to be a happy.
And he's most likely going to call 911 when it takes too long for his meal to be prepared.
It's almost like, boys, there should be like a 711. Get it? 7-Eleven. You should call 711 for all your fast food related emergencies.
He's onto something there.
Yeah, there might be something.
I'll tell you, Dave, that's not.
Got something. That's gold. That was gold.
That's not the dumbest idea.
Okay, guys, let's end the post-game show and let's get working on this. We got to come up with a business plan. We're gonna present this to our mayor.
Patent pending. This has all been trademarked. We have trademarked 711. People, you cannot take this away from us. This is our initiative. We're moving forward with.
Is 711 taken? Because if it's not, I'm going to trademark it right now.
You should
not trademark it. Whatever. By the rights.
Yeah, people used to squat on websites, right?
Hold on, whoa, you people, Drew.
No, I said people used to.
Yeah, you said you people.
Do you guys see Cocaine Bear yet?
No.
Boy,
but
Drew, I've never seen you. You've never been this disjointed on a show before. But well done.
Did you watch this hockey game? I mean, how much more do you want me to do?
Well, I mean,
Dave and I are going to go see Crystal Meth Camel, and then we're going to go see Cocaine Bear.
Crystal Meth Camel, I think that's a winner also right after Cocaine Bear.
For the record, just to answer the question, because some people are saying, is Ehlers ice time really the biggest concern? It's not that that's the only concern. There's lots to be concerned about with this Jets team, including the plays of Mark Scheifele, Blake Wheeler, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Kyle Connor, this entire team.
But when you're down by 4 goals and one of your best player isn't playing that much, that to me is a big concern.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that tomorrow.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay, let's do some contests and wrap this thing up because we got to be back. We're back on in less than 12 hours, and I've clearly lost my mind with the shenanigans I'm bringing forth on
Burger King and Steinbach. Did you ever think we'd be talking about Burger King and Steinbach on IC?
I'm just sort of surprised that there was, there's that much of a demand for a Burger King in Steinbach. I mean, what other?
That's kind of like when Jollibee opened up in Winnipeg for the first time.
Well, I mean,
first ever in North America, I should say.
Right, but I want to know what other fast food restaurants are available in Steinbach? Is there a McDonald's?
Yeah.
I mean,
I wonder if there's a Popeyes because if there's a Popeyes, there shouldn't be that big of a lineup at Burger King.
I've been to Steinbach. There's like DQ. There's
Oh
they've
yeah,
got
I know.
stuff.
I've been to Steinbach too, but I just trying to remember. Like last time I ate anything in Steinbach, I think I went to like a family restaurant because it was great food. I'm just thinking
Okay,
that,
hold on. We need to know why you were in Steinbach, though, Drew.
well, I used to golf at Quarry Oaks. I used to golf at the Steinbach Fly-In. I mean, I've gone there
Someone's
for.
doing well.
I I am made of money, as we've discussed on the show many times before. I've gone to look. It's worth the trip to Steinbach to look for a new car.
I thought maybe you went to a Steinbach Pistons game of the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. I was curious.
I have not done that. Sometimes I need to meet. I went to Friesen Drillers once. I needed to see if I could get some drilling done. But whatever it is, I mean, Steinbach's a great community.
Did you actually need to get some drilling done?
No. Why would I need to? What am I drilling, Ezzy? I'm not putting up an oil derrick in my front yard and seeing if I can tap some gold and crescent.
Well, I don't know. You own a lot of land. I thought maybe your land needed some drilling.
It doesn't. But I'm just curious now about the other fast food options that are available.
There's something called Google, Drew.
Do we have any Steinbach people in the chat?
I would hope that if they were here, they would have left by now because this is real nonsense, even for us.
No, we weren't bad mouthing Steinbach. Steinbach is a great city. We're just talking about the funny 911 call. We're all good. We love Steinbach.
There's Nicole is reporting that there's no Popeyes in Steinbach, but there is a Mary Brown's. So they are. Somebody is getting
Mary Brown's is tier 2 of fast food as well.
Well,
Mary Brown's is not in my top 3 or top 5. I mean, Mary Brown's. It's with Burger King.
Cherd wants to know if we should go for a roadie to Steinbach.
Like take the trip on the road.
No, but we should like get like Kramer's bus tour and like do it like an IC bus tour to Steinbach with everybody on the bus. Ezzy, of course, would be driving the bus, and we would just have a nice little trip. Stop at the center of Canada.
Okay, Kurt likes Mary Brown's. I'm not taking anything away from anybody that likes Mary Brown's.
Have you ever had Mary Brown's?
I have, because it's in. Last time I was at Walmart, there's a Mary Brown's in Walmart, so I enjoyed a nice chicken sandwich after I did my shopping.
Wow. Okay. Were you wearing sweatpants?
Maybe. What's wrong with sweatpants, Drew? I was made fun of in elementary school for wearing sweatpants. I am going to defend sweatpants.
In elementary school, you're allowed to wear.
Sweatpants are comfortable, and they say, I've given up on life, and I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, well, that's sort of my point. I mean, sweatpants, if you're in elementary school, that's fine. You're a kid. It's just when you're a grown adult and you're out.
I disagree with that.
Sorry, Dave. I didn't realize. According to Drew, I have to wear nudie jeans to go to Walmart.
No, you don't. You don't have to. Like,
I completely disagree with that statement. Especially with new sweatpants, Drew. Come on.
Drew's already offended Steinbach, Dave. Now he's going after the sweatpant industry.
Now he's going to ask the brand of your sweatpants, Drew.
No, I just need to know the quality.
This show. It needs a little.
Put on your antlers. It's time for the Minuk Moose Minute on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
I'm sorry. We got to get back to some semblance of normality. This is a hockey show. There's too much of your humanity.
After the bus driver conversation from last show, this is just a natural progression.
No, we're switching back. We're switching back and talking about the Moose, because the Moose had a 7-game point streak. Going into yesterday's tilt with the Milwaukee Admirals. Milwaukee sitting in second in the Central Division, the Moose sitting in third. Both teams coming into that game on 7-game point streaks. Yaroslav Askarov, the first rounder of the Nashville Predators, in net. He was the AHL Player of the Week, 5-0-0 coming into the game. He got the start. Opposite him, Arvid Holm in net. No Jimmy Olney or Simon Lundmark. Alex Limoges, leading scorer for the Moose, not back in the lineup. They did get alternate captain Cole Meyer back, so that was good for the Moose. And the Moose, they came out flying. Unlike the Jets, for the record, folks, the Moose came out ready to play and ready to start. They dominated the Milwaukee Admirals, and if it wasn't for Yaroslav Askarov, that game would have been 5 or 6-0, because the Moose fired everything they could at him. T. Konopoli will be happy with the first goal. I know he was happy with the first goal because he sent me a DM. Tyrell Bauer, the Jets prospect, 2020 6th rounder, he fired off a bomb. Nice pass by Jansen Harkins from behind the net. Make it 1-0. Then Wyatt Bongiovanni off a nice pass from Ville Heinola. That made it 2-0. Shots were 11-1 at that point. First period would end 2-0 for the Moose. Moose out shooting the Milwaukee Admirals 14-2 after 20 minutes. And oftentimes, you get a little lapse after in the intermission. The other team bounces back. Not so. The Moose maintained that energy level, kept it going to start the second period, went on a 10-2 run in terms of shots. So they were out shooting them 24-4 24-4, boys. It was quite an effort. Why Bon Giovanni, exact carbon copy goal, another pass, except this one, the last one was just after a power play had ended. This one was on the power play. Ville Heinola, really nice move at the line, feeds it across to Wyatt Bon Giovanni, scores to make it a 3-0 game. But the Admirals started to get a little pushback. They started to push back because they are also a very good hockey team. They lost Kiefer Sherwood up to the Nashville Predators. He got recalled. So that was good because that was 22 goals out of their lineup for the Moose's opponent. Arvid Holm had to be good. He did give up a bit of a softie to make it a 3-1 game after 40. And then it was kind of a back and forth third period. The Moose, it's funny. The Moose go 3 defensemen on their 4-on-3 configuration. And then Dominic Toninato got the toss out of the faceoff dot. So it ended up being Leon Gavanke taking the face-off against, I think, also Nashville's forward got tossed. So I think it was defenseman on defenseman taking face-offs, Ezzy. Not something you ever see. Leon Gavanke won the face-off. The Moose ended up giving up a late goal to make it a 3-2 game, but they would ultimately win. So they now have a 8-game point streak, boys. 2 points behind Milwaukee. With the rematch going tomorrow, Manitoba improves 28-16, 3-3 on the season, and should be a good little tilt tomorrow in the rematch between the Moose and Admirals.
Well, Dave, this is for the Moose, for the Minuk Moose Minute, and for Steinbach.
There we go.
Cheers, everyone. Let's get into the Tough Duck hardest hitting comment for tonight's post game show, which is, as usual, been slightly odd. Ezzy, who gets the Tough Duck hardest hitting comment?
We're going to give it to Jason Smith. I don't think we're talking about the former Edmonton Oilers defenseman here, played for the Devils as well, but I think we're talking about a different Jason Smith. Like the comment here, no Landy, talking about Landeskog, obviously captain of the Avs, no Makar, EJ and Helm, Eric Johnson, and Darren Helm, the pride of St. Andrews, Manitoba, also the home of Paulie Edmonds, by the way.
I was just in St. Andrews. Was that yesterday? Yes, 2 days ago I was in St. Andrews. Took a nice trip.
Were you also looking for drilling help?
No, I wasn't. I had to drop something off at a nice lady who lives in St. Andrews. But, it was nice. Took a nice little ride.
You got to be careful.
So
you got to be careful.
Buying drugs in St. Andrews.
You got to be careful, though, Drew. There's a nightmare on Helm Street there.
Love it.
Okay, we're going to mute Dave for the rest of the show.
Yeah, so the rest of the comment here, no problem. The defending champs are rolling and the West flat out blows. I just like that comment because, it's really hard to not remind yourself that this is the team without Landeskog and Makar, and they still handled the Jets 5-1. So I like that comment from Jason. Hopefully Jason's still around. He's still watching because he is the Tough Duck hardest hitting comment winner. So send me an email, Ezra@illegalcurve.com, or you can also slide into my DMs at ICSEG. Send me your mailing address, and Tough Duck will ship out a toque to you.
And if you can send them a Whopper while you're at it as well, that would be appreciated.
Oh, yeah. Send me anything food-related, and I'll probably eat it.
The Illegal Curve merchandise contest rolls on as it does on each and every post-game show. An opportunity for you to win some authentic Winnipeg Jets gear, courtesy of us here at Illegal Curve. The way to do so is you enter the Illegal Curve merchandise contest. You hit the drop-down arrow, you see the link, you click the link, you'll see a whole bunch of different things you can do to earn entries and earn ballots. And one of those things is entering in the unique code word for the Illegal Curve merchandise contest. You enter in this code word that's only available here on the post-game show or the podcast, and you get some extra bonus entries. The unique code word for tonight, Mile High Hockey. That's where the Avalanche were playing a mile high, a mile better than the Winnipeg Jets tonight. Mile High Hockey, all one word. That is your Illegal Curve unique code word for the merchandise contest tonight. Dave, who are we giving merchandise to tonight? Who is the lucky winner?
Well, I don't know, actually. Dale Mastel. Dale Mastel is the winner. So congrats, Dale. Folks will be happy to know, being the merch wagon has been rolling out. Phyllis, I know she's got hers on her way to her. Who else has got? I got a bunch of it done this week. I got still a bunch more to get caught up on. I'm getting all the emails, all the addresses and stuff like that. So don't worry, folks.
Why don't we get Mandel to make some deliveries? I mean, he's in St. Andrews, he's in Steinbach, he's everywhere.
Good point, actually, Ezzy. I really should have, but anywho, I didn't, and so I've got a bunch coming out, and you'll be getting yours very soon. And thank you for participating. And again, get your entries in. We've got lots of opportunities, retweets, follows, lots of things that you can do to gain extra points. Oh, there we go. Well done, Phyllis. All right,
Nice.
excellent. I know Lisa
If
Danko
Phyllis
has
is
hers.
happy, we're happy, so that's good.
That's true. That is true. So she's wearing it right now. Perfect. All right. Well, I hope that made your week, Phyllis, and we've got a bunch of other people who are going to have their weeks coming. Either this week or next week. But I will hopefully have everything caught up by next week. So there you go, folks. You're going to have your not illegal curve merch, your Jets merch from Illegal Curve coming very soon.
There you go. Congratulations to all the winners on tonight's program.
You're all winners.
Tomorrow morning, 9
the
a.m.,
Jets.
the Illegal Curve Hockey Show back here. And then again, a Sunday afternoon, the post-game show right around 5:15 p.m. Central Time after the Jets and the Islanders, as the Jets are looking to recapture winning ways after they continue to play in a tailspin. We'll see
By the way, Drew, speaking of winning ways, the Winnipeg Ice, got to mention it, ninth straight win for them. They won in Red Deer, who's the closest team to Red Deer and Saskatoon, I think, are the two closest teams to Winnipeg, and they're about 13 to 15 points back.
Brandon's actually closer.
Are they not? Brandon. Oh,
he means physically.
Yeah. I'm like,
geographically.
I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Anyways, Saskatoon, Red Deer, they're I know they're different divisions, but they're in the same conference, and I think they were 13 points back coming into tonight's game. But the Ice beat the Red Deer Rebels in Red Deer, I think 2-1. So the Ice now winners of 9 straight. Their winning percentage is close to 900. It's unbelievable.
Crazy.
The Ice are, they
They're
really
juggernaut.
are.
I mean, they are so ready for a long run. I think it's just the Seattle Thunderbirds and maybe the Portland Winterhawks that stand in their way.
It should be
Brad Lambert, apparently someone said Brad Lambert had 2 goals, I think. So he's really been rolling along for and that's going to be great for his confidence and depending on what happens with Seattle. But, if the Moose go on a run, you could see, obviously Chaz Lucius is done for the year, but you could see Brad Lambert back up with the Moose.
It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. That's it for us. We'll be back 9 a.m. tomorrow, which is 9 hours from now. 10 hours from now.
10.
So we'll see you in about 10 hours time. Thanks for joining us tonight on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Got to say a big thank you to all of our sponsors, of course, our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Linden Market Dental Center, Zappia Group Realty, Betway, Tough Duck, Boston Pizza, Seagram's, Rolly's Transfer, Grid Park, and The Keg. Support these fine businesses because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. The Mason Appleton goal, that was our Seagram's shot of the game. Seagram's 83, Manitoba's #1 whiskey, as he is currently making out with a bottle of Fireball, so that's totally healthy and normal. That's our cue to wrap it up so that as he can get intimate with his liquor. For Dave Manouk, for Ezra Ginsburg.
Not at my house.
I'm your host, Drew Mandel. We'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow, folks. Until then, good night and good luck, and thanks for watching the Illegal Curve postgame show.